Thank you for joining me tonight on the things that bother me. Tonight I will be breaking down the jobs report. Let's begin. Here's the blunt truth: the jobs report you see on cable news is a narrow keyhole view of a messy labor market that's being revised downward, distorted by definitions, and, right now, scrambled by a federal shutdown and open political pressure on the data producers themselves. In plain English, the scoreboard is flickering, the refs are getting yelled at, and the field is rougher than the headline suggests. The jobs report lie: America's disappearing workforce. We were told to measure our lives in tidy seasonally add-just increments, plus X jobs, unemployment steady at Y%. Neat. Sanitized. Digestible. Meanwhile, the real world bleeds in the margins: multiple job holders stacking shifts, parents timing insulin to the pay cycle, contractors chewed up by 30-day terms, and millions written out of the stat sheet because they didn't click apply in the last 4 weeks. Now layer on top of that a government shutdown delaying official reports and a president who literally fired the nation's top labor statistics official after the numbers came in wrong. America loves its fairy tales about work. We're told that if you keep your head down, punch the clock, and never stop grinding, the market will reward you. But look around, the dream is collapsing. What we actually live inside isn't a labor market, it's a shell game. Politicians wave a jobs report like a magic trick, corporate media parrots the headline, and Wall Street claps, while millions are erased from the story. The numbers they feed you every month are deliberately narrow. A sterile 4-point-something% unemployment is supposed to reassure you. Meanwhile, parents are working 2 and 3 jobs just to keep food on the table, contractors are stiffed on invoices, people are dropping out of the workforce entirely because the search itself costs money they don't have, and none of that shows up in the neat headline. The report says steady. Reality says collapse. And it's not just about statistical blind spots anymore, it's about political sabotage. In a functioning democracy, the jobs report should be boring, clinical, untouched by the greasy fingerprints of power. But when the numbers turned inconvenient, Donald Trump didn't just complain, he fired the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. He made the data itself a political hostage. Let that sink in: the very referee who measures the health of the economy was dragged off the field because the score displeased the president. That's not democracy, that's rigging the scoreboard. Add to this the government shutdown, which means even those manipulated, narrow numbers are delayed, withheld, kept in the dark. The scoreboard has gone blank. The referee is gone. And you, the worker, are expected to keep playing blind. Meanwhile, private reports are flashing red, hiring collapses, layoffs surge, the revisions keep slicing away at the illusion of job growth. Last year's rosy picture? Revised down by nearly 1 million jobs. That's not a typo. That's the mask slipping. This is the American labor market today, a rigged performance, designed to pacify investors and voters, while the human cost, your rent, your groceries, your second or third job, never makes the cut. The system isn't broken. It's functioning exactly as designed, to hide the suffering, smooth the optics, and shield those in power from accountability. How the jobs report works, and who gets left out. The jobs report is built from 2 surveys. Payroll survey, CES 121,000 businesses, 631,000 worksites. It counts jobs, not people. If you're juggling 2 or 3 gigs, you get counted 2 or 3 times. Agriculture isn't even included. Household survey, CPS 60,000 households. This one counts people. But here's the trick: you're only unemployed if you have actively looked in the last 4 weeks. If you stopped applying because you couldn't afford the time, gas, or lost hope, you disappear. If you are in prison, a nursing home, or in the military, you are not even in the survey. This is why the official unemployment rate, U3, is a hall of mirrors. It doesn't count discouraged workers. It doesn't count marginally attached workers. It doesn't capture part-timers, trapped in 20-hour weeks. BLS does track a broader measure, U6, but you'll never see that on the evening news. So the very people hurting the most, the invisible millions, are systematically written out of the good news stories. The revision game, the boom that was actually a bleed. Here's the part nobody tells you, those job gains we heard about month after month? They weren't real. Every monthly release is preliminary. It gets revised later, as more employer data trickles in. And once a year, BLS does a benchmark revision against hard payroll tax records. That's where the illusions collapse. This year's benchmark revision erased 911,000 jobs from the books through March 2025. That's almost 1 million jobs we were told existed that never did. The truth is brutal. Once revisions are factored in, the US hasn't been gaining jobs, it's been losing them, month after month. The so-called slow but steady growth was actually a slow, grinding bleed. Think about that. For 12 months, the headlines said the labor market was adding jobs. In reality, the workforce was shrinking. Every gain you were sold on cable news was eventually clawed back and flipped negative. The revision didn't just add just the story. It exposed the lie. The real number, closer to 25% than 4%. The official unemployment rate is 4.3%. But once you account for everyone excluded, the real number looks more like 25% or higher. Here is who the headline erases. Discouraged workers, millions who gave up after endless rejection. Marginally attached workers, those who wanted jobs, but didn't search in the last 4 weeks. Involuntary part-timers, millions stuck at 10 to 25 hours when they need 40. Incarcerated adults, over 2 million prime-age workers removed from the count. Caregivers and parents, forced out of the workforce by unaffordable childcare. Young adults, needs millions not in school, not in training, not in work. Farm labor and agriculture, for entire categories, crops, livestock, migrant, and seasonal, small farms, excluded from the payroll survey. When you add it all up, 7 million officially unemployed. Another 10 to 12 million underemployed, and involuntary part-timers. 5 to 6 million discouraged or marginally attached. 2 million incarcerated. 3 to 4 million parents and caregivers forced out. 3 to 4 million disconnected youth. 2 to 3 million excluded agricultural workers. That is 30 to 35 million people, in the working age population of 130 million. That's around 25% of America's workforce underutilized, erased, or left behind. This isn't a tight labor market. It's a crisis, hidden by accounting tricks. The interference, Trump versus the scoreboard. On August 1, 2025, Donald Trump fired BLS Commissioner Erica McIntyre for hours after those ugly revisions dropped. He punished the referee for telling the truth. He then tried to install a partisan loyalist as her replacement, only to backtrack under public outrage. But the damage was done. The independence of the jobs report, the very thing that makes it trustworthy, was shattered. Once the public believes the data itself is politicized, the consequences are deadly serious. Rates rise. Trust collapses. Every paycheck pays a hidden corruption tax. The numbers are supposed to be boring. They're supposed to be beyond manipulation. Instead, they've been dragged into the mud. In closing, let's stop pretending the labor market is some glowing engine of prosperity. It's not. It's a bloodletting dressed up as a parade. The truth is, we're not gaining jobs, we're losing them. Month after month, the revisions prove it. And the 4% unemployment headline isn't just misleading. It's insulting. It is a lie. Because when you count everyone, discouraged, underemployed, locked away, pushed out, forgotten farmers, you're staring at a real unemployment rate near 25%. That is not stability. That's not strength. That is depression-level collapse, with better window dressing. And when the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics can be fired for publishing inconvenient numbers, the scoreboard itself becomes propaganda. That means every plus 200,000 jobs headline you see isn't just a lie, it's a weapon. A distraction, designed to keep you docile, while the ground erodes beneath your feet. The next time you hear that the economy added jobs, remember this: those jobs may vanish in the revisions, because they were never really there. The only thing growing in America right now is insecurity, inequality, and the political pressure to silence anyone who dares to count the truth. This isn't a labor market. It's a cover-up. And it's time we demand the truth. Thank you for joining me tonight on the things that bother me. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe below. Until next time.